All right, as most of you know probably by now, we've been in this 14, 15 months. I'm Randy Robbins. I'm the president of the Pass Action Group in our our lawsuit that we've taken against the city and the developers trying to stop the Banning Point project. So before we get started, before we get started into some of the meat and stuff, I want to introduce our board. As many of you know, we've been meeting for the last, like I say, since October of 2021. We've been meeting basically once a week. We have cut back to every other week now. Once a week, going over everything we need to do between fundraising, between legal comments, getting attorneys hired, and all of that. So we've been working really hard, but it has not just been me. It hasn't been just a few of us. It's been all of us. So I'm going to start over on the left-hand side over there because she's the money lady, or your left, my right. That's Jeannie Lloyd, our treasurer. If anybody, we've gotten a few donations already tonight. If anybody has any more, you can see Jeannie. And then we have Harry Finnegan, Jan Fleming, John Swim, Bob Hicks. I'm going to go to the end over here. Bruce Brown. Our de facto attorney, Diane Burley. Gracie Luna. And our Vice President, Jim Corrigan. Jim has taken over as Vice President. As most of you know, our former Vice President, Sherry Flynn, is now on the City Council, and she's not part of the board anymore due to that. So, the one thing I want to remind is where we started and where we are today. In October of 2021, when we had a meeting out on the veranda, I've said this before and I'll say it again and I'll say it 5 years from now. I could not believe the support and the number of people in this community that came out when we found out about this. So if you want to clap again, clap for yourselves. We thank everybody for what you've done and that you've gotten behind us, let us lead. We've led the way, obviously. But your support, your comments, everything has just been greatly appreciated. We've had a lot of individual meetings with some of you, and we just really we would not be here as a community without what all of you and what we've been able to put together over the last 14, 15 months. So before we get into the legal side, which Diane's going to handle, we have Mr. David Larrateez, who is from the newly elected County Supervisor Gutierrez office. And David would like to say a few words. Yeah, go right ahead, it's on.
Good evening. It's my great pleasure to be representing the supervisor tonight. As a candidate, he came down and viewed the property and talked to, I believe, Randy and to Virginia and some other members. And he was very, 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 very disappointed with the proximity to your location here. And we started on January 2nd was day one. That was the day he told me that we needed to come down here and support you because it was a campaign promise that he made. And tonight you're actually seeing a politician keep his campaign promise. I'm bringing with me tonight a letter of support from the supervisor, and I'd like to read it. Dear Pass Action Group, I am writing in support of your efforts to fight against the proposed large warehouse project near Sun Lake's retirement community. I understand your concerns about the impact this project could have on the quality of life to the residents of Sun Lake and surrounding communities. As District 5 Supervisor, I firmly believe that warehouses have no place being in such close proximity to residential areas, primarily when they are located near vulnerable populations such as seniors and those in assisted living. In addition, the close proximity of these facilities can create several negative impacts, including increased traffic, noise, and air pollution. This can severely affect the health and well-being of those in these communities. Regarding the Banning Point project, I share your concerns about its proximity to the lakes at Banning Assisted Living, Memory Care, and Hospice, as well as Canyon Lake Country Club, which comprises approximately 55 residents, 55 plus. These communities are home to vulnerable populations who deserve to live in a safe and healthy environment, free from the negative impacts of industrial projects. Finally, I fully support the position of the PAS Action Group and encourage the Banning City Council to take the interests of its citizens into proper account. Therefore, I stand with you in your fight to ensure that the rights and health of Sun City and other communities are protected. In solidarity, Dr. Exien Alberto Gutierrez, County Supervisor, District 5.
Thank you, David, very, very much. We appreciate the support. And also, just as a side note, the supervisor could not be here today, but he is coming out with a team on Thursday to meet with the HOA. Virginia has actually been invited to the meeting as well. So there will be a meeting related to other stuff regarding the county. So I think we have a county supervisor right now that's going to support us, and it's phenomenal. Thank you again, David.
Thank you.
All right, so now we're going to get into, Diane is going to talk about the legal side of things, and you can stand wherever you want. Yeah, you should stand up so they can see you, but.
Well, I thought does the podium work? Yeah.
We didn't rehearse.
Good evening, everybody. I want everybody to think about what happened in October of 2021. And if creation, in their infinite wisdom, had not decided to park a trailer on that parcel of land, we might be 3/4 of the way to a finished warehouse on that land. We're just darn lucky that we found out about it. And when we did, boy, did we mobilize quickly. So I'm going to talk about two things very briefly. I'm not going to be a long-winded lawyer. First of all, I want to talk about where we are legally. As you know, on December 9th, we filed our opening brief. I hope some or all of you have had a chance to read it. It is compelling reading. It's very readable. It tells our story, and one of the best legal documents I've ever had the pleasure of having any affiliation with. Today was the date that we received at about 4:45 this afternoon the respondent's brief from Creation and I guess nominally the city. I think Creation's lawyers did the most of the legal work on it. I didn't have time to review it, so I can't comment on it. But we're gonna get it up on the website so everybody can read it, and then we'll know more about it. Our our reply brief is due on March 9th. That will be our response to what they have to say. Usually it's quite a bit shorter than the opening brief, and there are page restrictions. I think that it has to be under 20 pages, but I'm not sure about the count. The hearing on, once we file our reply brief, the case is fully briefed, and then the court, the judge, Judge Reimer will read the pleadings, the briefs, and probably draft something called a tentative decision or a tentative opinion, letting the parties know where he's planning to go with his ruling. It's not cast in concrete, but in a case like this, I would expect it. And then there will be oral arguments in a hearing before him. Be interesting to see whether it's done virtually again or in person. Interestingly, we have never met our attorneys in person because of thank COVID for that. So I've never met Kevin Bundy, our wonderful, wonderful lead counsel in this case. But anyway, it'll get heard. The court will hear the argument, and then I'm guessing between a month to 2 months, the court will render a decision. Once the court renders a decision, we will, a number of things can happen. They could rule for us, they could rule against us, they could rule against the city and creation. There's a number of possibilities. We may appeal if we're not happy with our decision, with the decision. They may appeal. The important thing to know about all of this is that it causes delay. And delay in this situation is our friend. The longer it delays, the better off we are. Not only are we better off just because delay is good and it postpones the inevitable, but the second thing I want to talk about is the fact that it appears that the tide is turning in public opinion against warehouses. Just a show of hands, how many people had a chance to read the feature story in the Los Angeles Times last Sunday? I actually have a copy right by where I'm sitting, if anybody wants to take a look at it. I didn't have time to make more than one copy. So that is showing, obviously, a very strong change in public opinion. And the other thing that I think people are aware of is that on January 31st, a letter was written to Governor Newsom on behalf of 60 parties, various organizations and individuals opposing warehouse development and asking him to put a 2-year moratorium on the development of warehouses in California. So that is on, I believe that's on the governor's desk, and wouldn't hurt to write in support of that if you want to do that. I do not have a copy. I wasn't able to download it. What was that?
I will get the article uploaded to both the website and the Facebook page. I will get that done.
Yeah, so I read the letter at one point and I downloaded it and I thought I had it, and when I printed it out I got all these blank pages, so who knows why. Anyway, so that's where we are. We got legal stuff going on that we're very hopeful, we're very pleased with how the litigation has gone so far, and we have political opinion and public opinion shifting. We also have Sherry Flynn, who's now on our city council, and there are changes on the city council, which in turn may affect the city's decision-making process in approving warehouses as we go forward. So that's where we are, and onwards and upwards.
Thank you, Diane. And as I said, I will get this stuff up onto the website and onto the Facebook page so that you can take a look at it closely. The lead signator on that article was a lady that works at Claremont Mudd Colleges, I believe it is. I forget exactly which department, but she's with the Robert Redford Conservancy. And so it's very much on environmental issues. I had reached out to her about 6 months ago and never heard back from her. So we aren't officially part of it, but I hope by the next time we have a town hall, we will officially be part of that coalition. That's going to be my goal. And so even though the governor may or may not have the jurisdiction to do it, the public opinion is going to matter. So like Diane said, if we can send out, send letters to the governor, send letters to your supervisor who has already vowed support. Sorry, David, you're going to have a lot of letters to read. So anyway, yes, Jack. Jack's question was, can we get the address for the governor's office? Absolutely. I will find that and I will get it posted at the same time on all the different media spots. Good idea. Thank you, Jack. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to have Bruce Brown talk about some fundraising / social events that we've got one coming up, and Bruce is going to talk about it.
Evening. Thanks to everyone for coming. It was a pleasure watching this room to start to fill up. I'd like it full with every chair, but sometimes things happen, like presidential speeches and stuff like that.
This is more important.
Yeah, it is. They should be here. You all have in your chair, and the ones next to you, if they're vacant, a flyer for the PAG fundraiser called Friends Follies. It's Sunday, March 26th. It's from 3 to 6 p.m., and this time it's in the South Clubhouse. There's going to be fun contests, silent auctions, food and wine. I won't read it all to you, but there have been some questions, and I just wondered if you guys had any, but let me anticipate them and just say a couple things. The menu right now is planned is appetizers with meat and cheese platters, pasta salad, fruit salad, green salad, and an assortment of pizzas, probably 2 pieces each, and a glass of wine. And then if you choose to have an additional glass of wine, it's $5. The theme of the night is famous duos. I know that because I was assigned with coming up with the music. Why did we come up with music? Because we don't want to pay for a whole lot of stuff out of your money. We want to use the money for this. So I have a DJ friend. He pulled together all the famous duos, Everly Brothers to Sonny and Cher to beyond that, to more current in the 70s anyway. And the point is there's 56 of them. They're all recorded, and I've tested it, and they play very well in that clubhouse. So you'll be entertained with duos. The theme of duos falls into dress. If you choose to come as you are tonight, that'd be great. But if you want to participate and not just watch everybody else do this, you could be part of it. Come as a duo. Bring a great friend, bring a husband or wife, bring a spouse, bring whoever you want. I don't care. That's up to you. But and so is the outfit. You want them to match. Maybe you wear the same hats. Maybe you wear the same shirts. Maybe you wear the same socks. Maybe you just have a common story about each other you want to share. Maybe you've been friends for a long time, but you're a duo. That night you're going to talk about it maybe if you choose to. And that's sort of the theme. Make sense? Okay. It's going to be a silent auction, some fun contests, food and wine. In the silent auction, there'll be at least 3 items. And I won't get into the detail because like this flyer that we threw together as quickly as we can, we tried to get enough done so we could fully inform you tonight, but not really enough to have the whole plan done. So by March 26th, things will be rocking because we have a great team working on this. They're very thorough, and I wanted to thank some of them that are here, if they're here. So I'd like to thank Sue Brown and Debbie Robbins. They're sitting in the back, I believe. They're the chairs this time. And by the way, Debbie Robbins is the person who you take checks to. Her address is on the flyer. And last time we sold out really quick on our fundraiser, so if you're interested in this, be sure to get your check to her Dropbox.
And they'll
Or
take checks tonight. Yep.
Yeah, they'll accept it tonight. There was only 109 seats, so jump on it. Okay, I don't think I need to share anything else on this. I just know that we're going to have a great time, and the excitement is building for us because everyone's trying to make this fun for you. It'll be a great night. I look forward to seeing you. $40 a person.
And you'll notice on the flyer, we kind of coined the phrase at the taco night we did a couple months ago of fundraiser, not fundraiser, but fundraiser. We're going to have fun. It says, it's not a typo on there when it says fundraiser, just so that you know that. We've had a couple local businesses donate some money towards the wine. Another business is giving us one hell of a deal on the food, as long as that doesn't fall through. That's why I'm not saying who it is yet. I don't want them to get a bad name. Oh, we do have a contract. It'll be coming from Russo's. See, I'm kept in the dark sometimes too. So, all right. So next, I'd like Marcia Rudak to come up. She's going to speak for us on. We've got a good core of a board, and we've got a good core fundraising committee, but we also are having different things that need to be done, i.e. the Facebook page and stuff. But Marcia's going to go over it and try to give you some thoughts and ideas of where you can help out. Thanks.
Hi, I'm a volunteer with the PAS Action Group.
Right closer to the mic.
Okay. I am a volunteer. We're looking for other volunteers. One of my duties was to maintain a spreadsheet of all the donations. While I was never given the amount because that's private, I maintained a spreadsheet of everybody that donated, and with Harry's help, we sent thank you cards to everybody that donated. It was extremely impressive, the support we received in 2022. There were 570 people that donated once, at least once, plus some anonymous people, but I don't know who they were. There were 215 people that donated twice, 59 that donated 3 times, 29 that donated 4, 10 that donated 5 times, 2 people donated 6, 1 donated 7 times, 2 people donated 8 times, and an amazing person donated 9 times and has already redonated in 2023 because we just got some more. So the support's been amazing. While we have a phenomenal board, there's always room for people to volunteer and get involved with PAS Action Group. You get a little bit more buy-in when you're actually helping. Our previous webmaster has sadly has passed on, so we're looking for a webmaster or someone to assist. You don't have to be an IT specialist. It's menu-driven, it's GoDaddy, so it's not as intimidating, although I would never do it. That's one of the openings. There's someone who we need to assist with Facebook. Right now, Randy, who's the president of PAS Action Group, is doing all the Facebook maintenance. That's a lot on top of his plate. You read the content, you add content, you actually sometimes respond if there's an irate comment or something that is not factual. You can, touch base with the board and they will give you the facts so that our Facebook page for PAS Action Group is accurate. We have a newsletter that we put out on our website. We need people to help write that. There's marketing. We've done, in the past, if you notice, there were signs put up at every gate. They were large signs. That was one of the marketing endeavors. We went before the board, got their permission. The signs were then produced. We were trying to just bring attention. There's a lot of there's guests and vendors that come into our community besides just the residents, and we were just trying to draw some attention to that. There's fundraising teams. That's what's going on with the next March 26th. And There's actually plenty of opportunity for anybody who would like to join. There's some forms in the back of the room, I believe, if you're interested. And then turn them into Bruce. And that's all I have to say, so thank you.
Thank you, Marcia. Okay, Jim Corrigan. Oh, before we go any further, we do have 3 board members that are not here. I want to give a shout out to. Lori Matsushita, she is actually the executive director of the Lakes. In our bylaws, many of you are aware, we have at least 1 representative from Four Seasons, 1 representative from the Lakes, as well as a majority of the board is made up of Sun Lakes residents. Ron Roy, who is a Beaumont resident, has joined us a few months, or about 6 or 7 months ago. And last but not least, our secretary couldn't be here today, or our former secretary. Jan is our current secretary. Jim Moran, who was the Sun Lakes resident for 4 or 5 years. They've moved back to Riverside, but Jim was a delegate chair, or assistant delegate chair, or vice chair of the delegate assembly here at Sun Lakes. And we're going to miss him and Natalie, but Jim is staying on the board. He will be commuting from Riverside for our meetings. So he just couldn't make it today. So anyway, now Jim Corrigan is going to have something to say.
Hi. Thank you all for coming tonight, and I just wanted to mention one other type of fundraising, and that's been being performed by one of our Sun Lakes residents, Dory Gartsky. You'll see the information up on the screens and at home, and if you want to take a picture to have that information so that all your recyclables, she's already raised $3,700 on her own. Plus, we got an additional check of $650. So this is a great way to put money in the coffers. Simply, doesn't come out of your checking account, just throw them in a plastic bag, 55-gallon, plastic bottles, glass she will take as well. We're getting donations from the restaurant from all the glass bottles instead of going into the trash. And we won't go there, what type of bottles. And aluminum cans. Just please consider the effort that she is giving and making for us, and provide clean, maybe even squashed aluminum cans. Consolidate plastic bottles, please remove the caps. Keep them in a separate bag because they will give us the weight value for the caps, but they cannot process or receive the bottles with caps on the bottles. Now, Dory, I'm sure, has to remove plenty of those caps, but what I gave to her, I had them in a separate bag, tied up, and inside the bag with the plastic bottles, and she's got a big trash can just for caps in her garage. So please consider doing that. We'll raise a ton more money. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. And as Jim said, Dory is not officially part of the board. She's not officially a volunteer. She's doing this on her own and bringing us the checks. And that's all. Whatever anybody can do, we greatly appreciate it. On that same note, the Sun Lakes HOA has been very, very supportive of the Pass Action Group from day one. And I want to make a shout out to everybody that's a member. That's everybody that belongs to Sun Lakes. You're a member. So thank you for what you've done, and thank you for allowing your board to support the Pass Action Group. So talking about support, as our flyer that went out in our Lifestyles magazine said, we've been averaging about $10,000 to $15,000 a month in legal bills. That's how it came out. It hasn't been every month that much. A couple months were higher. At the very beginning, some of the bills were very high, in the $20,000 to $30,000 a month range. So that's what we've been dealing with. Our bill, you can do the math yourself, but we have now paid up close to $200,000 in legal fees. And we hope to, be able to, or we definitely want, we still have money in the bank. We're in good, decent shape to get through all of this with the donations we've received tonight, and we're gonna get more hopefully. We know we're gonna guarantee that we'll be able to get ourselves through, all the way through the end of this process. It's a long process, but our goal is to get through the whole thing. So that's the main thing about that. So we're gonna keep raising the money where we can, just to make sure we have it. One thing I wanna point out, our marketing and ancillary costs are under 5%. So we are, I believe, let's see, we're spending the money that is in for legal fees is being spent on legal fees. Okay, we're not spending money out, we're not doing crazy stuff. We've taken, you know, we've paid for flyers for Lifestyles. They've come back tenfold. We've paid for the banners. That came back probably not as good as we had hoped, but it came back. We saw an influx of donations to help us get all the way through this process. So we just wanted to thank you again on that. And that, you know, it's just so important, and it's just, again, it still blows me away, the way this community has banded together to get this done. It absolutely blows me away. Let's see, make sure I'm not forgetting anything here. All right, one thing that I would like to bring up right now, there's a gentleman in the audience today. His name is John Hagan. He's a Banning resident. He's standing up in the back right now. If you want to see him later, they are trying to build a cannabis grow facility in their backyard, literally. And he does have a petition here tonight. He's not going to do anything until the meeting's over, but anybody wants to sign a petition, any Banning resident is welcome to sign that. And you know, we're going to support wherever we can. John and I actually knew who each other were. We finally introduced ourselves tonight. So I will give him some of our tips of what we've done to gather our community together and see what he can do. Again, warehouses do not belong in residential areas. So that's it. So I think at this time we'll open it up to some questions. The mic is on. Remember, you have to get fairly close to the mic. So anybody that has any questions or comments, come on up. And while Ken's coming up, does any of the board members have anything you'd like to add? Please, you're welcome to. Anybody? Nope? Okay. Go ahead, Ken.
Ken Johnson, Birdie Drive. I'd like to say thank you for being here tonight. It's really important that our supervisor is actively involved, and we didn't have that before, and we really need to have the commitment to continue on like you said you're going to do, because I see that as a positive for our community, and I'd like to again say thank you. I'm up here for a comment, and the comment and some feedback is that I want to be on the 5th donation group. Tonight I'll give another check, and I know it's hard because I did some taxes today and some going over expenses. With inflation and stuff, it gets harder and harder. But it's also hard to see trucks going by and a whole bunch of warehouses going up, and I don't want to have that. So I'm willing to donate some more money, and I'd like to encourage you to do the same, those in the room tonight and those I'm watching on Channel 97 or the ones that watch on the broadcast on Facebook. And if you can't do a check, give a little cash. Save those coins and give us some money. And I'm going to definitely follow up with helping out with the recycling, a great idea. So I'd like to thank the board for their efforts. I'm encouraged by the comments from the group, and you all have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken.
I just wanted to comment. My name is Tina Coward, and I live in Sun Lakes. And I just wanted to comment on at least what I had read. I don't know if it's the same letter you may have from Governor Newsom, but I read that he was putting a state of emergency for California because of the environment in the Inland Empire. The air quality is the worst in the country. And that has got to speak volumes. And I'm hoping that things that we've turned in, did we ever renew doing the air quality, the first?
The environmental impact.
There we go, thank you.
The environmental impact has not been redone. It's possible that that could come out of this. Just as a quick reminder, from going way back, we missed the original window to challenge the EIR because they prompted all this through, in my opinion, during COVID, under the cover of COVID. It was when you couldn't go to meetings, planning commission meetings, council meetings, you had to do Zoom, and so that's my personal take on it. But so the answer is it has not been yet, but if we win an aspect of it where they reevaluate it, that could still happen.
Someone in Nextdoor had, Nextdoor, it's an app that covers actually the country, but there's a lot of local stuff up there. And they had submitted the letter. I tried to download it, and I couldn't for whatever reason, because I would have brought it. But that's what at least was said online. I know we can't believe everything we read, but the fact that it said Governor Newsom, I figured it had some weight. Thought I'd mention it. Worst in the country.
And thank you. And I'll follow up, and we'll on the articles about any emergency things that the governor can do.
I'll step over here so you can see me. I live at the Four Seasons, and I have been involved in two groups in Highland. Some of you may have heard the story. We won against Lewis Homes. But this is before COVID, so the fight started, and we went on 2 of the 3 issues of the environmental impact report. I have a question for the lady that gave the report on the legal. I want some clarification. Has that letter of a reply to what the group was sent, has that been sent?
You mean the letter that we were referring to that was sent to the governor?
No, in the legal process with the brief. Yeah. Are we waiting for our side to present a brief, or has that been done?
Let me go over it one more time, okay? On December 9th, we filed what is called an opening brief. That was our first brief. That's up on the website. Anybody can see it. Today, we received the respondents' brief.
Their response.
The response from the city and the developer. I think the developer, probably
Okay.
it was their attorneys who drafted the brief. So that was today, and we got it at about 4:45 this afternoon, so I haven't had a chance to look at it.
No, I understand that.
Okay, so on the 9th of March, we have to file on behalf of Pass Action Group, a reply brief. So we get the last written word on the issue on March 9th.
And then how long after that do we
Okay.
expect?
Then the court will hold a hearing with the attorneys, and they will argue, each will argue their side. Sometimes in a case like this, the court will draft a written tentative opinion or questions to ask the attorneys during argument. Don't know exactly how that works, but anyway, April to May, there will be an oral, what they call an oral argument about the issues with the attorneys in front of Judge Reimer. Then Judge Reimer will render a decision. My best guess would be a month, maybe 2, depending on his own docket and how many other cases he has on his load. So we could probably expect to have some kind of a decision by late spring or early summer.
This judge is it something like we should be writing to him?
No.
No, okay. I have another question regarding there was a proposition that was supposed to block warehouses from being, that failed. Am I correct in that?
It wasn't a proposition, but it was put together by Assembly Member Reyes out of San Bernardino.
Yeah.
And I think it's 1842, AB 1842 or something like that. I
Yeah.
forget the exact number, I'm sorry. Anyway, it has not actually gone to the full body. It was pulled out because the big business basically shut it down. So,
Okay, so
Okay.
it says it didn't get voted, it never was presented
yeah,
for a
th-
vote.
th- that won't be a
Okay.
factor in our case at this point. So, all right,
Okay.
we're going to move on to the next person, and thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Appreciate you. And thank you, Diane, for covering it. Anybody that missed it, hopefully you got a shot the second time.
Okay, all right. I've just been told to keep it close, not to keep it short, but I'll keep it short.
Keep it short.
Thanks.
Now you've been told.
I'm Pam Michaels. I do not live in Sun Lakes. My brother and my mother do in separate houses because he's living with his wife. And I want you to know that as a non-resident, I really appreciate the activity that you have put into and the efforts, because it affects all of us in Banning, not just you guys. Because this is one warehouse, but there's more space down there, down by Hargrave. I mean, we could have multiple. So this is sending a message to the city council on more than one level. And I think tonight I'll end up being 3 times donator. So, and my family has been active. So just thank you from all of us in Banning, okay?
Thank you very much.
The other proposed warehousing is 10 million square feet on our
5.5.
5.5.
But when you're in the millions, it doesn't matter.
On our eastern boundary.
I'm Julie Austin on Wailea Beach. I just have a question. The businesses that are in the area in Beaumont right near us, have they formally been notified of our meetings and their attorneys about how their businesses will be impacted upon this?
Yes, Julie, every one of the businesses in this shopping center here, Sun Lakes Village Shopping Center, was informed and reached out to going back, over a year ago now, and we got virtually no response. The dry cleaners let us put right there next to Albertsons. Let us put some of our flyers or our posters in the windows, our protest posters or our awareness posters, as I like to call them, and so we did not get a whole lot of response from the corporate side over there, with the exception of the Lakes. The Lakes has been very active. As I said, we have a member of the Lakes that is on the board, and they have been donated as well, and they have put into their 2023 budget for more donations to us. Okay. John, go ahead, come on up.
Hi, my name's John Hagan. I live on the other side of town, but I'm very impressed with the progress you people have made in this venture. They're trying to do that same thing to us on the east end of town. They're trying to put a 93,000 square foot warehouse 60 feet from our back doors. And they actually advertised for these warehouses to come in. Schulze won't admit that, but that's what they did. And I'm not asking for any money because we don't have the numbers that you people have. All I'm asking for is signatures so I can present to the city council, or the city council and the planning commission. Now the planning commission is going to be 3 new spots here next month because they're replacing people, and all their resumes look in favor of our plight. So hopefully there's a little sunshine on our plight. So I'll be set up in the back, and if you want to sign this to give me some support to the councils, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Pardon? The petition says, we the undersigned sitting here banning, do hereby protest the cannabis cultivation warehouse proposed for Charles Street and Driftwood Circle. We also object to any warehouse projects within 1,000 feet of any residential zone in the city. So that kind of plays into your plight also.
Correct. Thank you. So it would be only banning residents. So if there are some Beaumont residents in here today, don't sign it because it wouldn't. If they certify them, they'll throw it out. So, all right, Beverly, go ahead.
My name is Beverly Rashid, and I guess the first thing I want to acknowledge is that we're probably responsible for the fact that the whole warehouse issue has made a statewide and a national impact, because there was nothing going on, nobody was responding until we responded and made national and made the media. So we should be congratulated on that one too. My other point is, I'm also here as your community ambassador, and on the 4th of April, we're having a business expo here at Sun Lakes, the very first ever. The purpose is to invite businesses to Sun Lakes to introduce themselves so that we can start shopping in Banning and using Banning services. A lot of people are disappointed in Banning, but sometimes we're kind of responsible for it because we take our funds and we take our monies elsewhere except for our taxes. I want to encourage you to participate. We're asking them to bring goodies, and it'll be restaurants as well as services and merchants. So you'll be hearing a lot more about it, but I wanted to let you know now so you can start preparing and put it on your calendar. It'll be from 5 to 8 on the 4th of April in the ballroom. Thank you. Thanks, Randy.
Thank you, Beverly. As Beverly said, I'm just going to add a personal note. As frustrated as we might be with the city of Banning, we have seen some changes in the last 14 months. We've seen some council changes. We've seen a supervisor change. So we've seen some changes. Whether we're responsible for them, I don't know. But we worked our tails off to make sure stuff happened. And I'm not meaning just us. I mean all of us. We appreciate that. So is there anybody else like to speak? Go ahead, Virginia.
Again, I speak. I speak because we all take this personal. I've been told before that this is an inactive community, but look how active we are. We are very active. We have many activities here. We dance, we sing, we do the follies, we do the plays, we swim, we play golf, everything. We are not an inactive community. It's been told before. We are very active. Like Randy said, back in 2020, I live right by that wall. I live right by the railroad tracks. I live right by the freeway. That very corner of the wall, city officials went there, and so did Creation. They're looking over the wall. I assumed they were going to bring in retail. That's when they did all their tests with CEQA, AQMD. They did all the testings because they can get away with it. It was scary in 2020. I didn't hear anything on the freeway. Nothing. Just like it's quiet right now. That's how it was. No train, no cars, nothing. But it smelled fresh because we didn't have diesel. The sound was great because you didn't have the train stopping right there in the middle. As of today, 2023, from 2020, I'm telling you right now, there's been accidents on that freeway that'll stand still up to 4 hours. Imagine 8 to 12 rigs parked on Highland Springs to get on or get off. Imagine these rigs going through, if they make Sun Lakes Boulevard through, they will be a complete stop right there. Many people on the north side are very concerned. The emergency fire department did tell me, Virginia, we will do our best to get there. Now remember, San Gregorio does not have a stroke unit there. So you may have to go to Loma Linda or Desert Regional. So please, I've seen the train just stop completely because items that have happened on the rails, not just by the wall, but all the way down there. They're going to be a complete stop. So that means Pennsylvania cannot go through. 79 Beaumont has had accidents where they're at a standstill. So they go down First Street, they come down Second Street, and then you have the accidents that are still going toward the freeway. Times it'll take everyone in here that come off the freeway 10 to 15 minutes just to get to the Albertson Shopping Center. This is real. They used the advantage of 2020. If it wasn't for the developer putting up the sign up there, hey, guess what? You're going to have a warehouse. Well, thank you very much for letting us know. But we don't want it.
Thank you, Virginia. Oh, she's got one more point. Go ahead. You're good. You're good.
I don't understand the heart. I don't understand the heart of the people that came up with this. The love of money, human is more precious. Please, write to whomever you need to do, donate whatever you can, because back on the first council meeting, there was this many people and more, and they were upset because we were raving and ranting and everything. This is our home. I love living on the north side. I love it here. You all love it here. So let's get active again and raise your voice and say no. I was going to say hell no.
Don't use that word, Virginia. Go ahead. While the next gentleman is coming up, I do want to just comment on one thing Virginia said. Many of you know this already, but maybe you don't. By the end of 2023, San Gorgonio Memorial will have a stroke center, certified stroke center. I was fortunate enough when I was on the foundation board to accept the giant check from Morongo for $5.6 million to build that. So I didn't do much of the previous work, but I was the president of that moment, so I got the big giant check. So, all right, sir, go ahead.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm David Johnston from Pebble Beach. I've been an independent health insurance broker for 30 years and was very active in our professional association in years past, serving a couple terms as a political action committee chair. It never failed to astound me the limited number of folks that would contribute to issues that would affect us all. I'm speaking to the choir right now, and I know we have figures about the limited amount of support we're getting when compared to the total number of folks here in Sun Lakes. You folks are the ones who can speak to your friends, speak to your neighbors, and encourage them to give whatever they can. You mentioned earlier, Randy, that we have an organization building the lakes, building into their budget contributions. We've done those calculations around our kitchen table and are building in ongoing contributions from our own pocket. Encourage other folks to join us, because we have the board, we have the organization, but at the true bottom line, something like this runs on funds, especially in light of those legal fees. So get active just with talking it up and encouraging folks to give. Thank you.
Thank you very much. While she's coming up, I'd like the lady in the yellow jacket to stand up. Yes, Dory, you. This is Dory, who's been doing the recycling program. We thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Pat Naylor, and I've lived in Sun Lake since 2004. I'm the person who is giving a little bit of money every month to our fund. I was a school teacher. I'm not rich. I can afford little, but I feel it's so important that this little bit of money that I put in Jeannie's mail every month will help. I encourage all the rest of you to do the same. You can afford just a little bit. If I can, many of you who are much more wealthy than I could ever think of being can afford it too. Please help. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody else that has anything to say? Again, any board members have anything else to say? All right, I think we are about done here. I do have a few flyers with Dory's information on it here. I want to thank Bob Murray and Hernan again for helping get everything set up, the HOA for letting it go out on Channel 97, and just thank you all for coming and all the support, and thank you again. Have a safe evening.